Yo, 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 what is rolling? You're watching a brand new video here on the Car Boot Collectors YouTube channel. It's been a long time coming. It has been a while since I have uploaded a video, but here we bloody go with a fresh new one for 2023. So I didn't really know how to do it this time. I didn't know the format. I know I used to do it a bit Ashen style, showing one item at a time. I have done in the past sort of me in frame, showing every item individually, but I thought for this, just to make it a bit more casual, a bit easier to record, I'm going to do it back in the day toys style. So I've laid everything out in a sort of aesthetic spread, no real order to it, and we'll just go through and show you what I picked up and tell you a little bit about it and tell you, how any interesting things of note about it, I'll tell you individually. But I thought we'd just do it this way. It's more casual. I've tried to record videos recently, like me sat and showing each one. I don't know, it's so hot in here and it's so sweaty. Like I watch it back and I don't know if anyone wants to watch a video like 30 minutes of me sweating like mad showing junk, and it just is a bit awkward. So just to get me my YouTube vibe back, we're going to do it this way for now, and I think it probably works a little bit better. It's a little bit, you can sort of see everything. Maybe now you're thinking, like, oh, I wonder what that is. I'll tune in, I'll stay around for that. I wonder why he bought that. I'll have to hang around a few minutes and find the conclusion to that question. So anyway, here we go. If you're fresh to the channel, if you're new in these ends, the old school Wild West car boot channels of YouTube, this is the general type of stuff I like to pick up. I like to pick up the sort of toys, action figures, retro-y stuff, pop culture-y things, random collectibles. There's all sorts of things that I'm after. I know it looks like a random bunch, but this is all things that are like, in my mind, like, yeah, that fits the theme. That's what we're after. So there is a theme to it. You'll see that when we go through it. The theme is things that are appealing to me. So there we go. With no further ado, let's get on and show you what we found. So let's start off with, let's go left to right. That's probably the easiest way. So I'll start off over here. This is one of my favorite finds of the day. This is like a great little purchase. Always pick these up when I see them. It seems to be like here and there I'll find these like in charity shops and at the car boot sales. Sometimes you find them, people know what they are and they're expensive. Sometimes you find them and people just think, oh, it's a jigsaw, and they're priced as a jigsaw, £1, £2. And this was one of the nice occasions where the person sort of knew that they were sought after but didn't really put a whole lot of value on them. So I got this bundle, I didn't pay a whole lot for it. So these are Wentworth wooden jigsaw puzzles, made by Wentworth. These are like very high-end jigsaw puzzles made of wood, like laser cut wood. They've got these little sort of whimsy pieces, they call them, so sort of shaped, themed to the jigsaw. So for example, this one is all animals, so you'd probably have pieces in there shaped like the animals that are featured on the jigsaw. They're quite snazzy. They've got a level of deluxeness to them. They've got a level of quality. In fact, you crack them open, the bigger ones come in dust bags inside. That's just this. Oh, there you go. They come in dust bags inside. That's just like the level of quality we're talking here. So we've got a few 250 piece ones, which is the sort of standard. They do bigger ones. The bigger ones can be insane money. The 500 piece, 1,000 piece ones, they can be sort of hundreds of pounds. That's another 250 piece. And then these are the sort of smaller ones, like they're probably 75 piece, they're probably 40 piece. Very sought after, worth pretty good money. Didn't pay a whole lot for them. I was very happy. There is actually a couple more of the bigger ones. I've lent those to my nan though, so they're not to be seen here now because I do not have them. But yeah, they're good. Nice find, that one to look out for. Those are sought after. A fella who I have encountered at the car boot a couple of times this year. He's your typical old car man. The story that I gather is he used to own an automotive accessory shop back in the day, and he's still got loads of old stock in his garage, in his sheds, whatever. And every now and then he just comes out and he's selling stuff. So he's selling all sorts of new old stock car parts, boxes of spark plugs, all that sort of stuff. Not really my sort of thing, but I'm sure if you were into it, he's probably got some really nice stuff. I bought these two today. So we've got a camping gas regulator Not something that's really appealing to me personally, but I'm sure people out there collect camping gas stuff, and if they do, it's quite nice to have it brand new in the packet, like the vacuum form packet. That's quite a. I'm sure if you collect that stuff, that would look brilliant on your shelf. And we also picked up a little Esso oil drop man. I bought a couple of these off of him a few weeks ago. I get the feeling he has a lot of them, because I asked him a couple of weeks ago when I bought a couple. I said, "Have you got any more of these?" And he was like, no more. And then this week he had a couple more there, and I only bought one of them. Someone else bought the other one. I get the feeling he's got a lot of them, but he doesn't want to sell them to like one person, which is a shame, because if he had hundreds of these, I would buy all of them. But yeah, still paid a few quid for it. I'd buy as many as he's got for a few quid, because those do bring pretty good money, especially sealed in the bag. I've had many of these before loose, and you get, £15 for them in used condition, new in the bag. They're sort of £30-40 quite regularly, so it's quite a sought after little item. I think you used to get given those at Esso garages back in the day. Not super exciting, but it was inexpensive. A Nico remote control car. This is the Venus Free. These are just, like pre-built. They're sort of more toy ones, not the sort of particularly high-end, like hobby ones, like your Tamiya and your Kyosho. There is still a little bit of a following for these. If they're cheap, I'll pick them up. This one, I was like, oh, how much is it? Thinking it was probably going to be a few quid. And he was like, oh, I don't know, 50p. And I was like, well, I can't refuse it for that. The battery compartment's a bit manky. It probably is a spares or repairs conditioned one. But for 50p, I'm not going to leave it behind. Next up, these two here. These are from the same stall. This is a couple who are at the car boot fairly often. They've always got stuff that's quite appealing to me, and they always sort of say, oh, I've got some stuff that might be up your alley, and usually is. Sometimes their prices are a little on the high side. They'll be like, oh, that's £1 million quid on eBay, I want 900,000 for it. I'm not quite that extreme, like, oh, that's 50 quid on eBay, I want 40 for it. Oh, you can sell it for this. Oh, you make good money. I'm like, you know what, do not want it now. But anyway, this time they had this Panasonic CW0, one personal cassette player, factory sealed. Not a high-end model, not a particularly exciting one, but it's just appealing because it's new and sealed. They wanted a fair amount for it, and I was like, I can leave it behind for that. I can live without it. And as I was walking away, they were like, oh, go and have it for this. And I was like, yeah, well, I can't really refuse it for that. So we got that for a pretty reasonable price. Those run about £20 second-hand, so new and sealed in the packet. I would guess an estimate is probably 50, 75. It might even be a little bit more. And this was from them as well. This is a little bit interesting, and this didn't cost a whole lot at all, really. A GoBots exercise book and notebook set. It is new in the bag, but the bag is all split, so it is opened, but it is all completely unused. I've never seen any memorabilia for GoBots before. I've had the action figures many a time, but I've never seen any like merch for it. So merch. I'm all about the merch. Cut me and I bleed merch. I've never seen the merch for that though, so that's pretty cool. At the back here, we've got a boombox. I am absolutely, not physically, but I am swimming in boomboxes at the moment. I've picked up quite a lot of these this year. What I tend to do when I pick up any of this junk is wait until I've got like a few things and then list it in one go, just for the sake of ease. And I've got quite a few boomboxes now, so really I need to have a day where I get them all sorted and tested and listed, because that's probably about the 7th or 8th one I've picked up in the last few months that's now kicking around in me storage. So a Sanyo, I don't know the model number because it's on the back, really clean. It's in really nice condition cosmetically, other than the foam is a bit deteriorated. It's missing the battery cover. And it doesn't fully work. There's a bit of an issue with the speakers. When you start turning the volume up, they just cut out. But I'm sure, people love these for the aesthetic. So it's not, whether it's work, obviously it's a bonus if it's working, but if it's not, it's still someone will have that just as a display piece. So that was pretty cool. Sanyo one. Couldn't find that model number listed anywhere. It's probably not a super sought after one, but as an aesthetic piece, pretty cool. Someone will like that. And we picked up from the same person this 4-pack of Bush C90 cassettes. Just blank cassettes. Nothing particularly exciting about those. I'll always pick them up when I see them. Some of them will bring good money. If it's sort of the higher end ones will go for good money. But that I think is a fairly generic one, probably not worth more than a few quid. This is really cool. This is a keeper. I bloody love this. I've never seen one of these before. So this is made by Oxford Diecast. I know they do models that are like commemorative for the Great Dorset Steam Fair, an event which I frequent every single bloody year, because of course I do. Isn't on this year though for some reason. And this is like one of the Fairground organs. So in the van there with the Fairground organ in the back. Not particularly well detailed, but I've never seen one before. These are really cool. I love going to this show. I love these things, you know, they're there in the background, like just doing their thing, making all of the organ noises. And I'd never seen a model for one, so I picked that up. It wasn't, you know, it was like £5, and I thought, well, I'm not going to leave it behind for that, because that's going to look cool on the shelf, isn't it? It's going to look really cool. But sure enough, they are sort of £20-25 on eBay, and they sell quite regularly. So that's, for some reason, well, I say for some reason, obviously, it's pretty cool, so that's why people want it. But yeah, it's a somewhat sought after item. Let's go with this little pile here. Maybe we'll do a little circle round. This was like a tin full of odds and ends and bits and pieces, and I sort of was like, oh, how much are these? And the woman was, I don't know, a few pence an item, pull out a little bundle, see what it is. And I was like, oh, okay. Had a little rummage, pulled out these bits, and it was like a couple of quid. So we've got a Mr. Bean Teddy keyring. A bit of older Mr. Bean merch from the 90s. He's pretty cool. Yeah, in 1997, so it's from the original series. I mean, they make loads of Mr. Bean stuff now, but original stuff, there isn't a whole lot of it. They did a doll and they did like slippers and stuff like that, but the older merchandise is a little bit hard to find. A weird little keyring I just picked up because it was intriguing. I don't really know what it is, and I've done some research and I still don't know what it is. Jesma Decan. As far as I can find out, it's some kind of scientific sonar company or something. It's something to do with underwater sonar devices. So they make them apparently. I don't know what it is specifically, but it's quite a cool little key. I'm sure someone out there collects Jesma stuff or some kind of, I don't know, underwater science fanatic might want it. I don't know. A golf tag, Cheddington Golf Club, member 2009. I think that's somewhere around my end. I didn't know they had a golf course though, and some tees. I don't really know why I picked it up. I think that's so niche. I don't think anyone's going to want that. Then we've got a couple of cards. This was really odd because everything else in there is fairly sort of modern, but then these are like old 60s trading cards. So we've got the Invader. This is from the Outer Limits. I think this is A, B, and C gum, although Bubbles ink, so maybe it's a UK print of it. But yeah, from the Outer Limits TV series. Never seen any stuff for that, so that's pretty cool. It's a shame they only had one of them. If they'd had more, that would have been quite cool. And then we've got a Popeye card here from Primrose Suite. Again, probably 60s era. Shame there wasn't a few more old cards. You know, it would have been nice if in the tin there was like a fat stack of Mars Attacks cards or something, but just those two. And a gun there, I think that's probably Tommy Gun or something. It's broken either way, but I think it was just caught up in the tag. I didn't really put it in my pile intentionally. Animal Crossing New Horizons on the Switch. This person had a few Switch games there and they wanted £10 each. They had that one, they had the Nerf game, and they had another game called like Unbox. They wanted a tenner each, and I was like, do you take 25 for the free? And the woman was like, yes. And then her son, who I assumed games they were like, he was like, no. And she was like, oh, are you sure? You're only knocking a fiver off? You're getting them all gone in one go? You might not sell the others. And he's like, no, I want 30 quid. So I was like, okay, we'll just take that one then. Trades in at CEX for 16 cash, 23 credit. Pretty steady on eBay at the moment for £30 postage, so I've huzzed it on eBay. That's in minty condition, so not a massive markup, but it'll be quick and easy. It'll probably be gone within a couple of days. We've got this here. It's an advertising piece for Parker Hale shotguns. This fella had loads of shooting memorabilia, and it's a shame really because when he started getting out of his car and laying it out on the table, I was hoping he was just going to be like, oh, 50p an item. And I could have been like, how much for everything? And he'd just go, I don't know, take all of it for whatever. He had like just literally hundreds and hundreds of tins for pellets, boxes for shells and all sorts of stuff. It was someone's whole collection going back to sort of war era through to sort of probably the 80s. But he wanted quite a bit for some of it, and he didn't really know what he wanted for some of the other stuff. He sort of, I don't know. I wanted to either buy all of it or none of it was the gist. And I don't think it would have been possible to buy all of it for a price that I cared to have it for. So in the end, I just bought this advertising felt. It's sort of like a bar mat. I'm not sure if it's got some kind of other specific use. Maybe it's like a cleaning cloth or something, I don't know. But I picked that up. But it is a shame because initially I was really hype. I was like, oh, cool, there's loads of these tins with cool graphics on and boxes for like Winchester shells and stuff. It's quite a collector market for that stuff. It's not something I know a whole lot about, but I figured there's so much of it. If I could get a bundle on the lot, it would work out okay. But yeah, in the end, I just picked up this advertising cloth. There wasn't anything else there that was sort of like tangible advertising stuff. The rest of it was all just like tins, boxes and stuff. So we just picked up that. A little bit of a shame, but you know, that's fair enough. That's how the booty goes sometimes. A little bundle of bits here. These are off the same people. These are all off of this sort of old couple who, like, I mean, based on the odd bits and bobs I bought from them, at some point must have been living the high life, because we got from them this Bentley flag, this MG chair, these yacht club flags or pennants, and this champagne bucket. So we got an odd little bundle of sort of posho items. So yeah, a Team Bentley flag. I think it's motorsport related, if I'm not mistaken. It's from the early 2000s. It's not a massively sought after item. It's good though. It wasn't very expensive. It's a shame because it's been stored probably in a shed or something. All these bits look like they were already grotty when I picked them up. You got a bit of insect excrement on it, and I don't really want to risk cleaning it because it's quite fragile. It's sort of thin, sort of, I don't know, silky type material. It's probably just, you know, like polyester or something, but I wouldn't want to risk cleaning it and then it fades or it tears up or whatever. So as is. Two boat pennants. So this one here is for the Royal Cornwall Yacht Club. Very nice, sort of like a applique pattern on that. Quite a nice quality piece. Quite well collected. Yacht Club memorabilia always goes pretty well when I get it. Mugs, pin badges, brooches, ephemera, pennants, all go quite well. Another one here for Zodiac, which I believe is a manufacturer of boats. I couldn't seem to find this logo anywhere, so either it's an older logo that there's no real reference to online, or it isn't for Zodiac boats. But I'd assume as it came with the other boat stuff, it probably is. Top hat, ice bucket. I don't know how you say that. I don't know if it's, I know some people call it moe, some people call it moet. I don't know, but it's an ice bucket shaped like a top hat, a champagne ice bucket. So yeah, don't drink champagne because it tastes like ass. What can I say? So yeah, that. I only really picked this up because I know that there's an ice bucket. I've seen it somewhere and it was annoying me that there's like a promotional piece for, I think it's one of the James Bond films, and it's an ice bucket shaped like it might be Odd Job's hat or something like that. And it was for like an event or something. And I saw this and I thought, is this like a promotional piece for a film or something? Or is it just a straight up, just a generic ice bucket? And that turns out what it is. They're not particularly rare. They're not particularly valuable. Maybe worth about £25, including delivery, but it is quite an awkward item because of how big it is. So not a great purchase on that one. And then this I was really excited about. This is really cool. It does need a little bit of work. A little bit of wood glue and a clamp on that, and that'll be good to go. But it's an MG director's chair from the 1960s. So it all folds together, like lays flat. Safety fast, the logo on there is sort of MG Owners Club's motto, which started in the 60s. The woman, this is all from my research, this isn't, you know, off the cranium. The woman I bought it from, as I said, it's quite an elderly couple, and she said that they got it when they bought an MG way back in the day. So I'd assume it probably is of the era 60s, possibly 70s, but it's definitely the chairs, you know, an old chair. Like it's just working out because the logo's never really changed, so it's hard to work out off that. And I can't find one anywhere. But I'd imagine it probably is just a gift for buying an MG. I'd guess so, but it's really nice. Like obviously the car people that love all this stuff, love all these accessories and bits and pieces. that they can display next to it in their garage, display next to it in their, you know, when they're at a show. So anything like this original of the year is always quite sought after, and it's not in great condition. It's quite faded, but at the end of the day, it still exists, and what more can you say than that? So that's pretty cool. It will clean. When I clean it up and get that fixed, it'll be quite nice. But it is solid. It is sturdy. I've sat in it. It hasn't broken. So that's your mark. That's your seal of quality. Not much more to go now. These here came from my good friend Tiki Tony. I haven't seen him for quite a while. He's quite into his music, and I think he's sort of over the summertime started coming up to the car boot, selling some of his records and selling some of his CDs. And he was here this week, and he just had boxes of CDs, 50p each, records, £1 each, and it was a bit of a free for all, people flicking through them. And records aren't really my bag. I'm not particularly interested in them personally. It's not something I pick up very often to resale. Same with CDs. Like, I'll have a flick through, but it's not something I'm like too hot on the knowledge to like buy all the time, and it's not something that interests me enough to like buy loads and whatever. So I had a flick through, and I pulled out a couple of things that just stood out to me. And we got some pretty good CDs. So we got Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. This is the sort of Peter Frampton Bee Gees musical soundtrack that was a big old flop. I don't know a whole lot about it, but I know that it's pretty widely regarded as being a bit shite. And that's in really nice condition. It's not worth a whole lot of money. It's maybe 10, 15 quid. It has been clipped. But the actual records are in pretty nice condition. And then we also picked up this Dwayne Eddy vinyl, which is in nice condition. I don't think that's worth a whole lot, maybe 7 or 8 quid, possibly. But I just picked it up to listen to, really. I don't know a whole lot about Dwayne Eddy other than his song, they're like, wow, wow, wow. So pick that one up for £1. And then we picked up these CDs, as I say, from my good friend Tiki Tony. So these were all in his 50p box, and then he charged me a bit more for them because I questioned. I was like, oh, what, are the box sets still 50p? And he was like, oh, round it up then. And I was like, you said they're 50p, but I don't mind. So we got this one here, The Best of the Pirates. It just stood out to me because it's something I've never seen before. I'm not too sure who the Pirates are. Fleetwood Mac box set, Muddy Waters box set, the Bare Bones Boogie Band. I'd never heard of them, and they just stood out. It looked like something that might be interesting. I think that is their like complete all of their albums they released, so it's a nice little bundle. And then Magic Sam Raw Blues. So some CDs there, as I say. It's not really my sort of bag, but we picked up a few, and there you go. We'll end on that because that's a really nice item. We'll end on that. That's the finale. One little bundle here of some toys which I picked up. Quite late on at the car boot, actually. My dad chased me down, and he's like, oh, have you seen this stall over here? And I was sort of getting ready to leave, and I hadn't seen this stall somehow. I'd been there for a long time, and I thought I'd scoured it very thoroughly over and over again, but I hadn't seen this stall. And he picked up this collection of Lost in Space figures. I think, if I'm not mistaken, this is like the full set of basic figures, and then the large... what's he called? Can't remember the name. But the alien dude. Obviously, I think that's nearly the full set apart from the robots. And they've all got accessories and stuff. I don't know if they're all complete, but there's a whole pile of accessories. I think that's a Star Wars accessory from the 90s, though. But they came in that Bluebird Spider-Man lunchbox there, and he didn't pay very much for it, like sort of a few quid. And he was like, oh, I've got some more stuff, come and have a gander. There might be some other stuff of interest. So they just had boxes and boxes of stuff and stuff all over the place. And I had a good rummage. And just for a few quid, it wasn't very expensive. Nothing too exciting, but it wasn't expensive. We picked up this old school Kenner Batman Robin cycle. I think they had these in Poundland for a while, not that long ago, maybe about 10 years ago. It's really faded, and the packaging is rubbish, so I might just sell that as a loose bike, just because the packaging's quite awkward. There was that. We've got the Sarah Jane Adventures Star Poet. See that figure about all the time, usually incomplete. I just picked it up because it's got all of the bits. It's got the base. Doctor Who Reaper from the episode Father's Day. Quite an uncommon figure. You don't see this one too often. It's a cool one. It's one of the few sort of deluxe figures from the Character Options Doctor Who range. It's a shame because I did know the tail was broken. When I got it, was really dusty. I got home and started cleaning it off, and the head just snapped straight off. It was just fragile. So it's a shame he's now broken. Pretty much worthless. He's only worth about a £5 if it's in good nick, to be honest. But I just picked it up because I haven't seen one for a while. And then we picked up these Natural History Museum dinosaurs. These were made by Invicta Plastics in the 70s. That wasn't spit, by the way. That was a sort of combination of mostly sweat, I will say. It's gross, I know. But these were made by Invicta Plastics. They did a gift set that was a mail off from Weetabix, but they also did sell those. Those are all quite common ones. You do get certain ones in rare colours, and there are ones that are painted, which are worth quite a bit of money, but those are all pretty common as far as they go. Final item, picked this up quite late on from a fellow dealer friend of mine. He mostly sells sort of antique bits and pieces. He's very into his like postcards and watches, jewellery, coins, all that sort of stuff, like antique smalls, bits and pieces. I went back around, I hang around most of the afternoon, going round and round, seeing what, you never know what's going to come out late at the car boot, so I'm always there for a while. And he had this, and he was like, oh, I forgot to show it to you earlier, this is right up your alley. And I was like, okay, let's have a go. And I knew what it was instantly. I've seen them before, I've never owned one though. This is a Fairykin set made by Mark, so this is like late 50s, early 60s. So it's shaped like a big old book. You open it up, and you've got all the little figures inside. Unfortunately, the box is broken, but it doesn't matter too much to me. All the figures are in here, but unfortunately, Jack B. Nimble's head is broken off, which is a shame. But you get all of these little tiny hard plastic figures made by Marks back in the day. I say they did Disneykins, they did other ones, you know, they did, some of them come in little tiny window boxes, and they did these big gift sets that come with all of them. So you've got the assorted, you know, all of the nursery rhymes there on the inside of the cover. So yeah, that was a really nice find. I found that really late on. That was like pretty much the last thing I bought, and I was really happy with that. So not something you see too often. I did pay a fair amount for it. It wasn't like pennies, but it was a good price. It was a good price to, you know, to buy it for. So I was happy with that. So yeah, there you go. That's my haul from this weekend. I'm sweating like mad, to be honest. It's so hot. It is hot up in here. I could put the air conditioning on, but it's so loud in the video. You just hear like in the background, so it's easier to not have it on. But there you go. That's my haul for this week. Hopefully we'll see you soon with another exciting, action-packed car boot sale haul. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you soon.